Steelers Nation, the Week 1 preseason game is in the books for the Steelers. The Steelers win 31-25 versus the Jacksonville Jaguars for the return of Pittsburgh Steelers football. No Aaron Rodgers, no DK, no major starters.
No, and no surprise there.
In fact, any major starters that played only played a drive or two. That's about it. So this was mostly a game for the backups. This was a game for Skylar. Logan Woodside saw one drive at the end where it got very dramatic towards the end for the Jags. They failed to score, which led to the Steelers' victory. This was a big game for a bunch of the backup running backs like Lou Nichols, Max Harmon caught a touchdown, Trey Sermon as well, of course. So this was a big game for a lot of those guys to show what they were capable of. So I got to give it to Skylar Thompson, player of the game. 3 touchdowns. You know, Will Howard couldn't play today because he got hurt earlier this past week due to a center exchange in camp. This would have been this would have been Will Howard's reps. This would have been Will Howard's opportunity here to see what he could have done. And he got hurt.
Which is unfortunate.
It's unfortunate, and I would have really liked to see what he would have done. But Skylar Thompson took the reps. Skylar Thompson took the opportunity. He went 20 of 28, 233 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
And that's the thing, though Will Howard probably will not be seeing a lot of reps and a lot of action in preseason. This gives Skylar Thompson the opportunity to make the most of it, and I gotta say, he absolutely made the most of it.
Yeah, 100%.
He balled out, man. Like, he made some crisp throws. He spread the ball around, very composed in the pocket, smart decision-making for the most part, and just slinging the ball into the end zone, man. 3 touchdowns. I got to be real. It's not the performance I expected from Thompson, but I'm not complaining one bit.
No, in fact, I'm very impressed. If he continues
Highly impressed.
If he continues this throughout preseason, he's obviously going to get quarterback 3 reps now, quarterback 2 reps when Aaron Rodgers is having his vet days. So he's going to get an increase in reps in camp, and obviously he's going to keep getting these reps in preseason. If he continues this on, I don't know what the Steelers do at quarterback. I think they're still going to keep Howard because they're going to keep him around. What does that mean for Skylar Thompson in his future? If he keeps this up, man, 3 touchdowns is very impressive. Yes, it was in the preseason. There's not much you can take away from preseason. Us Steelers fans know that, first and foremost, a couple years ago. But still, 3 touchdowns, over 230 yards. He threw a touchdown to Keyshawn Williams, who was the Steelers' leading receiver. That was a great play by Thompson, man. He had pressure coming, and he just gave Williams a chance. And
it was a 50-50 ball, and Keyshawn Williams, who was an undrafted rookie free agent, made a couple plays, but most importantly in the end zone, just making that good contested catch there, 50-50 ball. Williams made the play. Thompson also threw a touchdown to Trey Sermon. Right there, again, another play where, he was composed in the pocket, just dumped it right to Sermon in the flat. He waltzed right into the end zone.
It was a running back screen. A running back screen actually working out for once on the
Okay,
Steelers.
then. All right, fair enough.
It was a running back screen, and then Max Hurlman, who's listed as a running back, but he's actually saw a lot of slot reps. He scored a touchdown too. So good stuff from those depth guys, man. They're really trying to make a chance to prove to the Steelers they should stick around for a practice squad spot, get a future reserve contract. So good to see those guys do what they were capable of. Skylar Thompson looking composed, very impressive. Looking real solid. He didn't really make a lot of errors. He really didn't. He was really slinging it out there. He was throwing with some aggression, some diciness to him. Did not expect that from Skylar Thompson, but he came out guns a-blazing today. It's like he had something to prove, man. So that's really cool. Will Howard was on the sideline. They were teammates in college for a year.
At Kansas State.
And, they showed some support. So that's really cool to see as well.
Yeah, props to the never-seen 17.
Yes.
Just got to throw it out there.
Rock Taylor, 2 catches, 38 yards. He had a lot of fanfare coming into this game. That's all he got. I was hoping he would have seen some reps with a guy like Mason, but Mason only saw 2 drives. His first drive, he went 7 for 7, 70 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah, led the offense 75 yards opening drive, and he threw a 19-yard, dot, a nice ball to Darnell Washington.
Yes.
It was a very, very subtle drive. Mason, it's like he never missed a beat. It's like he never left Pittsburgh in a weird way.
No, but he only played 2 drives, as did the entire starting offensive line. Obviously, minus Isaac Sayamalu, because Spencer Anderson was the starting left guard. He played the 2 drives with the starting O-line, and he allowed a sack on that second drive, which stalled everything.
And that was it for basically the majority of the starting offensive line.
And I get they're trying to be precautious. We've already seen injuries in preseason, and you don't want to risk anything. I get it. But the O-line is very important for the Steelers this year, and they
not down with that, we've got 2 words for
2
you.
words. We got 2 words. Shout out to the chat, man. The singing with the 2 says, are you guys related to Chris Webby? No, not at all.
No.
I don't even know who that is. But no, definitely not related. But we appreciate the super chat.
Thanks for the super chat.
But
If you're not
another
down
one.
with that, we've got 2 words for you.
Child of the Corn 199 says, does Trey Sermon make the squad? I don't think so. But he did have a great touchdown on a running back screen.
Listen, you can make the case. He's got 2 more preseason games to do so. We'll see.
Right. But yeah, the starting O-line, I get they're being precautious, but they need to figure some things out. Broderick Jones, this was his only 2nd game ever at left tackle since being drafted by the Steelers. That's it. So I thought he could use more playing time. Fatanu, he only has 2-3 games under his belt. Shout out to Steven Stefanik, who subbed to the SteelTwins. Appreciate you, man.
Thanks, Steven.
They don't have a lot of experience at their respective tackle slots. So I was hoping they'd see more playing time. They only played 2 drives. That's going to increase throughout preseason for sure. But I was hoping today they would have seen more than just 2 drives. It's not something I'm going to harp on too much, but I was expecting more.
Yeah, I mean, like, if not the whole first half, I would given the whole offensive line at least another drive, maybe even a second drive, just to build that chemistry, just to make sure, that the unit can be solidified so we don't have any problems come week 1.
Yeah.
And I know that we have 2 other preseason games to do so. Maybe they give them more time as they go about throughout preseason. That's very possible. But I will say from what I've seen within the first 2 drives, Broderick looked fine at left tackle. I didn't see a lot of negatives. He looked fine in his natural spot. I can only hope that he builds upon that. And Fatanu looked pretty good there too.
In fact,
He held his own.
that entire opening drive touchdown led by Mason had all day.
He did.
He didn't sense no pressure. He was able to do what he had to do. So minus Spencer Anderson, who's not a starter on this team, by the way, the starting O-line for the first 2 drives did well. I want to see more. We're going to see more. I expected more, but same thing with that. I thought we would have seen more with Roman Wilson. This was his real first chance at NFL action. He got 2 catches on the opening drive. In fact, he was the first completion of the game. Down the middle against Tyson Campbell. Very good catch by Roman Wilson. But that was the only action he saw. I thought we'd see more. Give him more of an opportunity to prove he can be the wide receiver too. I get they want to be precautious. I just expected more from some of the presumed starting lineup regarding the O-line and Roman Wilson.
Yeah. Even with the line coming off the first 2 drives, I would have had Roman Wilson still play in there, even when Thompson relieved Mason of his duties. Because Roman Wilson only played 5 snaps in his rookie season in that Raiders game until he got hurt again.
Right.
Did not play any preseason games at all last year. I would have given Roman Wilson at least another 2 drives just for him to get the snaps in there, give him the reps, see what else he could do. But again, just like with the offensive line, with the limited reps, I thought Roman Wilson looked good. He looked fluid. He looked quick. He caught separation, and he caught the passes thrown and intended to him.
Yeah, he caught all his targets, which were, again, 2. He didn't drop the ball. So that's a win in my book.
That's a plus.
And
that's a thumbs up for me.
And all the starters on both sides of the ball came away healthy. That includes some of the rookies, which is Derrick Harmon. He saw time in the second half, actually. Now, he didn't get a sack. He's not going to pop up big on the stat sheet. But what he did was clog the holes and stop the run. Same thing with a Y.A. Black. There wasn't as much defensive line pressure as maybe we would have thought. But the reason they were selected initially was to stop the run, to fill the gaps, improve that run defense. And alongside those guys, Harmon, Black, and Jack Sawyer, who played pretty much all game, they did their job. They did what they were brought in to do. So to those guys, they did well. This was their first bit of NFL action. They got their feet wet. I'm sure they're going to see a snap increase as preseason goes on. So a good first impression from those guys. I can't say the same for Kaleb Johnson, which is a bit of an underwhelming.
No, he finished the game with only 8 carries for 420 yards. That's about 2.5 average for Kaleb.
Now, it's also not entirely his fault because when the entire starting offensive line, minus Sayamalu, who didn't play today, wasn't in, Kaleb Johnson still was. He was going up with the backup offensive lineman, the third, fourth stringers. And there was an instance where they brought him in on a 4th and 1 situation. They went for it. Kaleb Johnson, no one was open. No lane was open in the middle because they stacked the box. He bounced outside and couldn't break the tackle. He got stuffed.
There's also an instance in the game where he dropped the pass too.
Yes, which that's going to come with Kaleb Johnson because he doesn't have a lot of receiving reps from college. Iowa was very run heavy, which is where Kaleb Johnson obviously flourished, which led to a lot of Iowa success there. That's going to be growing pains. And he has Jalen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell to learn from. You can't ask for 2 better teachers from the receiving upside.
2 better veterans at that.
So, not a great first impression from Kaleb Johnson. It's not entirely his fault, but there were a couple bumps. It's his first game. We're going to give, it's nothing to overreact about.
No.
Nothing regarding today is to overreact about. It's the preseason. It's the preseason. You can't really buy into too much. You can't really be sold on too much. But Kaleb Johnson, I would like to see him behind the starting O-line a little more. He could definitely use more snaps, use more carries, and I'm sure he's only going to grow. That's what he's all about. He plays with a chip on his shoulder.
If there's one thing that we already know about Kaleb Johnson is his work ethic.
Yep.
It's what the coaches and many people have really talked about when it comes to Kaleb Johnson is his work ethic, how he's constantly working. Even when practice is done, he's still working on the side, working on pass protection or working on his hands and whatnot, right? Like he wants to improve. He wants to get better. And I do hope that we see that next week at Heinz Field.
Oh, for sure.
Against the Buccaneers.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure Kaleb Johnson's going to bounce back. To me, it wasn't a great first impression. Maybe because I got my hopes too high. Maybe that's just a me thing. But I'm sure he's going to bounce back. This is his first game. It's nothing to get too crazy about. It's nothing to get too winded down about. He's going to grow. I still think he's going to be a great playmaker for this offense. There was a great play, though. Give Kaleb Johnson some credit, where he stiff-armed Travis Hunter. He didn't find an open lane in the middle. He turned on the jets a little bit, found a lane on the right side, stiff-armed Travis Hunter, got a first down. That's what we can expect from a guy like Kaleb Johnson.
Yeah, so it wasn't all bad by Kaleb Johnson. He had his ups and he certainly had his downs in this game. A very up and down, start for Kaleb Johnson, but
he's a rookie. Welcome to the NFL.
Yeah, I mean it's what's going to happen, and the only thing you can do is just learn from the growing pains. That's what the NFL is all about.
Yeah, I think we give him more outside runs, more wide zone runs. I think we can really see what Kaleb Johnson's capable of,
and get him involved with the starting offensive line. Rotate him a bit there.
Yeah.
As we progress throughout the preseason.
Yeah, I'm excited for more of these rookies to get some more playing time. And another shout out to Brandon Eccles and Beanie Bishop. They came away with so many tackles and PBUs. Brandon Eccles had a great PBU on a 3rd down. He also had a great tackle for loss the drive before. Beanie Bishop, what did he have, 6 tackles in this game?
He finished with 6 total tackles and had a very good pass deflection too.
Yeah. And these are depth players. Beanie Bishop could be the starting nickel guy if we didn't have Ramsey. Brandon Eccles can play outside and inside, plus special teams ability.
But for depth purposes, for their roles, with a loaded defensive back room, it goes to show how stacked it really is, because we all know we have JPJ, Ramsey, and Darius Slay, but then you also have the depth guys and Eccles and Bishop, and seeing what they did in this game, very impressive. I liked what I've seen from both of these players.
Yeah, corner is very stacked. We got the starting 3, and we got a good depth area for sure. So shout out to Beanie, shout out to Brandon Eccles. Brandon Eccles is already looking like a very good addition. Plus, shout out to Juan Thornhill. He might be that question mark in the secondary, but today, first of all, in camp, he was really showcasing, he can pick off A-Rod. He's making plays in coverage. Today, bro, he was a bit of a thumper for Brian Thomas Jr. It was a slant route. Brian Thomas grabbed the ball. Thornhill with a truck, a thump, which knocked the ball loose.
Call it the pass breakup, and that's the kind of play that Juan Thornhill is going to bring to the Steelers. It's what he's always had in his game. It's one of the things I really do like about Juan Thornhill in his game.
Yeah.
If he keeps doing that, he does that consistently, we might be all right at free safety.
Absolutely. So good things coming out of there. Plus, Carson Brunner did lead the team in tackling with 7. So good things coming. Some good things coming out here. Some good things coming out of the rookies. They're just going to build on this. based off of these performances, some of these guys are going to see an increased snaps in camp. I could assume we see more of Lou Nichols because he was a bit of a shifty guy today. Shout out to him. Keyshawn Williams made a good play. Rock Taylor, I want to see more from him. I want to see more end zone reps for him. I want to see him get targets with a guy like Mason Rudolph. You know, I know Scotty Miller made a lot of good plays today, but I want to see Rock Taylor get some reps with Rudolph next game.
Yeah.
I'm not going to entirely expect it, but that's something I'm going to be wishful for.
Yeah.
But these guys, they're going to build. They're going to take what they did today. They're going to use that for camp. There's a joint practice next week as well. Plus, it's a home game versus the Bucs next week. So there's going to be some good energy, some good vibes in the locker room for that. And based off of these performances, some of these guys are going to see an increased number of snaps for camp for the next preseason game, which will be exciting. I'm hoping next week, what I want to see next week, I want to see some of the stars play a little longer, specifically the offensive line, specifically Roman Wilson. Let's let Kaleb Johnson work with those guys as well. Build that chemistry, build that cadence. We're gonna need that. We're gonna need that for the offense in week 1. Aaron Rodgers, he might not play all preseason. I think that's a mistake, but he might not play all preseason. But if the line itself can start gelling and getting things going, that way come the regular season, they're where they need to be. Get the negatives out the way, get the funk out the way. We can start the regular season on a good note, hopefully.
Yeah. Fingers crossed on that. I would definitely, if I would make the decision, I would have A-Rod play at least a rep or two, a drive or two. You know, like nothing crazy. He doesn't have to sling it constantly. He doesn't have to throw the deep ball. You know, just be in the huddle, be with the group of guys. You know, build that chemistry with the offensive line, with Zach Frazier snapping the football, hand the ball off a couple times. You know, just so that A-Rod just can, you know, just feel fluid out there. You know, he can just, you know, go out there and do what he needs to do. You know, just small steps heading into week 1. I would do that. I don't know if Tomlin will, because Tomlin's all about, you know, guys with experience. He said that he's been here 21 years. He doesn't need it. But, I mean, A-Rod's still freshly new here as a Pittsburgh Steeler. I would like for him to build some chemistry with the offense. But if not, you know, like more playing time for the starting offensive line, more chemistry with Kaleb Johnson. See if they can bounce back from this week. Just give them more playing time. The rookies as well. Play Harmon more. Play Yahya Black more. Sawyer more. You know, like just get these guys more involved to get these guys reps that they could possibly need.
I agree. I also want to mention this on a closing note. I did notice Jack Sawyer playing both sides of the edge all game. Good. Move the edge guys around. Watt, Highsmith, Herbig weren't playing. So he was really splitting reps on each side with Liao and Julius Welshoff and guys like that. Good. Well, I saw some of that. I saw some of the blitz packages. You know, we're blitzing some of the inside guys a little bit. Good. That's what we need to do defensively. We saw a little more man today. If that can translate to the regular season, with the starters, this defense can be as advertised. So those are good things coming out of this preseason game. It's preseason. It's nothing to be crazy about. It's nothing to be sold on, but solid thing so far. It was a good first impression regarding some of these players. So let us know your guys' thoughts down in the chat. Who do you think was the player of the game? Who was your most underwhelming? What do you want to see more from camp or for the next preseason game? Let us know down in the comments below. Otherwise, Steelers win 31-25.
The win doesn't matter. I mean, it's preseason. Wins don't matter in preseason. But the performance, you know, I was very impressed with a lot of these guys, especially Skylar Thompson. Shout out to Skylar Thompson for a very, very good football game. And we'll see if he can, you know, see if he can do that again next week against Tampa Bay.
Yeah, 3 touchdowns. It's pretty impressive. So, yeah, shout out to him. Definitely player of the game for me. But we're going to close it out here. See you in the next one. Here we go, Steelers.
And as always, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later.
Peace!